Hi, I'm Jane Ward, also known as Trainer Jane, founder and CEO of Selling on the Spot and Selling on the Spot Marketplace. We are very excited to be hosting our fifth annual Selling on the Spot Holiday Marketplace and Appreciation Party this month and have some amazing sponsors. So I'm here today with Carl Richards, who has started attending our virtual events this year, has attended many, has had some great successes in our marketplace, and is again sponsoring the event. Carl, thank you so much for sponsoring. Thank you for being here with me today. How are you today?
Jane, I'm fantastic. Thanks for this invitation. Absolutely, selling on the spot marketplace has been a phenomenal experience so far, and I know it'll get even better as we get into this year, get this year wrapped up and into next year. So thank you for this opportunity.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. So our community is a very global community, as you know. You and I are both in Canada, but our events being virtual means that we have attracted over 20 different countries participants to our events. So please tell our global community who you are, who you help, and how you help them.
Well, again, my name is Carl Richards, and essentially what I do is I help entrepreneurs and business owners navigate the still somewhat confusing and unknown world of podcasting, and I demonstrate how they can launch simply with compelling content and in a timely fashion, usually in 60 to 90 days, depending on the individual, which of course we're living in a digital universe right now, so that's certainly why I help them the way I do help them.
Wonderful. Okay. And so who is your avatar? Who is your main target market?
That's a very good question. I work with a lot of small business owners, usually the people who are most attracted to what I do. They're usually real estate investors or people in finance, also coaches. There's been some latest data go out that if you're a speaker, for example, or you're using speaking as a vehicle to create your business and grow your business, that you should have a podcast and you should definitely be doing that. So those are the people who I work with the most. So that's not to say anyone can't have a podcast, but those are certainly the people who I would say are my avatars. And age range, that's another thing. Demographic, it can be early to mid 30s, right up to, I have a client right now who's in her 60s and has been told by a coach she needs a podcast. So she's certainly one that's taking the reins, doing that. But yeah, those are the people who I serve the most, and it's a great experience working with them and seeing them bring their product out there.
Perfect. And do you know that I don't have a podcast?
Yes, I do. We're going to change that.
What do you suggest I do, Carl?
I think you should start a podcast. But no, full disclosure, with what you do as a speaker and certainly what you do with the selling on the spot marketplace, I think a podcast would be perfect for you. We won't talk about that here. We'll take that offline, but it would certainly help to further elevate your brand and your credibility, which you've done very well in the course of your business life. But it would, escalate even more with that podcast.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And I know that I'm interested in participating in your courses that you have coming up. I know there was a past one when you and I were both speaking and training at the exact same time. That's the only reason I didn't participate in it yet.
Yeah, that tends to be the way. It's usually the timing and the schedule. But I mean, the nice thing is with the programs that I offer, some of them are there and they do come about on a fairly regular basis. So there's always an opportunity, not just for you, but for anyone who's seen this video to jump in and explore. And I think that's the first thing that people really need to do is explore that world, because there's so many apprehensions, or people are a little bit shy about it. Well, once you learn the process and you understand that it's really not as complex as it's made out to be to have a podcast, that you really start to embrace it and go, oh, this is kind of fun. It's kind of like probably the first time you were told, oh, you need a website, you probably went, oh my goodness, what's that? How am I going to build that? But you learn, you grow, and then all of a sudden now people are managing their own websites. I don't, because I let somebody else take care of that for me. It's not in my wheelhouse. But certainly, comparing it to that trepidation up front is getting through the technology and getting, asking those questions. Why do I need a podcast? What are the advantages? And that's certainly one of the things I'm here to do all the live long day, except for maybe while I'm sleeping.
I love that. And I think that you said exactly what I was thinking, and what in the past has been my own hesitation as well, is what technology do I need? Not only what do I need to own or buy, but also to embrace and learn. And where does that fit into my schedule? And that sort of thing. So, are you finding that that's one of the biggest challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. Technology is one of them. It's usually time, money, and technology are the
Mhm.
three big ones that come up. The other one that comes up quite often is I don't even know where to begin. That's another one that comes up. But certainly time. There's the misconception that people think, okay, if I have a podcast, it must be like running a radio station or something. I'm going to need to dedicate 24 hours a day, and I don't have 24 hours a day to dedicate to it. Then there's the thought about money. And again, people think you have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to build almost like a sound stage or a studio. That's not the case. And then, yeah, technology does become a factor. So once you find out that you probably have quite a bit of the technology already at your disposal or can easily access it with a couple of simple and safe downloads
Mhm.
from the
Okay.
World Wide Web. Are we still using that term, World Wide Web?
You just did, so sure.
No, seriously, there's a couple of things you can get from the internet quite easily. And as far as recording devices, microphones and stuff, that's a personal thing. A lot of people just use earbuds for recording.
Okay, good to
Some
know.
have pretty fancy microphones. I have a
Sure.
couple of them, but you don't need them.
Okay.
Certainly from a starting perspective, but certainly yeah,
Okay.
the technology can be a I don't know where to begin, but that's one of the things that I help people navigate is the technology, the time, the money. I mean, it's better to invest actually rather than investing in all the sound equipment and studio type things that a lot of people think you need. It's better to invest in the training to be better at delivering your speaking and your product that's going to be out there in the podcast universe forever. And that's why I do what I do, is to help people with that.
Perfect. Yes, I think that was my other hesitation in the past is I don't know what I don't know. And therefore I need to come to someone like you to learn that. So with that, let's use that as a fantastic segue. What is your offer that you are making in at our event, but also are making here to our global community?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the offer at the event is similar to the offer that will live here until you decide to take it down, but it'll live here for quite a while. But the nice thing is I have a Facebook group. It's called Podcast Launch Made Simple, and in that group we have discussions going all the time. I'm posting every day. There's usually once a week I'm posting about some of the latest trends about podcasting. But then we also have training that will come up, and that's one of the things that I'll be featuring during the Selling on the Spot marketplace during the holiday edition, and I'll be offering people the opportunity to step into a free workshop series, which is offered usually every 6 to 8 weeks. The next one being in January. So if you're watching this after January, well, just look for the next one. It'll be coming up soon. But certainly that's an opportunity for you to get some of these questions answered that Jane and I have talked about, but then also explore some of the things that you need, some of the simple things you need to get going right away, so that by the end of that week, you already have a couple of things in place that will have you launching your podcast within that 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even sooner, depending on certainly your motivation or how quick you want to launch. So that's why that workshop week, it's totally complimentary and anyone is invited to attend. And all the training does take place in the Facebook group. So again, joining the Facebook group, again, it's Podcast Launch Made Simple is the first step. And then checking out some of those daily offerings, and then checking out the training that comes up on a regular basis. So you can decide for yourself, is podcasting really for me? I can sit here and say, yes, it is, but you'll get a better indication once you take one of the workshop weeks rather, and then you'll be able to decide for yourself. And most likely you'll be launching a podcast within 6 to 8 weeks after that.
Perfect, perfect. I love that. I know I'm going to look into it. I want to make the day and time work so that I can participate in it with you as well. I am a part of the Facebook group. So Carl, thank you for your time today. Any quick closing last words?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is certainly there's no better time than now to jump into the podcast universe. It is still the wild, wild west as far as some of the opportunities that are out there, but that's the time to jump in, especially if you've been hearing people tell you you should have a podcast, probably time to have a podcast. So reach out, more than happy to answer any questions. And thank you, Jane, for this amazing opportunity.
Thank you again for sponsoring the event. Thank you for joining me here in this interview. I will see you Wednesday at Selling on the Spot Holiday Marketplace and Appreciation Party. For those of you watching, please register to join us. It's going to be our biggest event ever, virtual, with again over 12 countries registered already. And I know that's still increasing now, which is fantastic. So whether you're looking to do business locally or globally, we offer you the opportunities for both. Please also subscribe to our channel here, Selling on the Spot. Thank you again, Carl. Take care.
Thanks, Jane.